Hello everyone, welcome back. So in last lecture we have seen what do you mean by serializability. In that we have learned about conflict and view serializable, right? Now the next topic is concurrency control. So what do you mean by concurrency control? Here we will satisfy all the condition of conflict and view serializable. Okay, so what it defines, it is the process of managing simultaneously execution of a transaction in a shared database. Okay, remember, in a shared database to ensure the serializability of a transaction. That means when several users access the same database file simultaneously, there may be a possibility of data inconsistency. Okay, so what the purpose of the concurrency control is? First, to enforce isolation. Okay, so what do you mean by isolation? Isolation means what? If one transaction is going on, okay, there is no interference of another transaction. Okay, isolation means if one transaction is going on, there should be a no interfering of another transaction. Means that transaction should be in a serial format, not in a parallel format. Okay, next purpose is what? To prevent database consistency. You have to check the consistency. You have to preserve that consistency of that database. Okay, next, third purpose is to resolve a read write and write write conflict. Here we will work on a conflict operations. Okay, we have seen this in a serializability. Okay, so we will resolve the read write and write write conflict. Now, to solve the concurrency or to control that concurrency, we used two protocols. That is, first is log based protocol and another one is timestamp based protocol. Now, what is the use of this protocol? This protocol is used to design a schedule, a proper schedule, okay, to avoid conflict, right? Now, let's see what do you mean by log based protocol. As the name indicates, lock means what? A particular transaction of that data item have only right to lock that data item. It's similar work as a lock. Means if you lock a home, right, then you can only access that open and you can only open that lock. No one can access that. Similarly, here also, transaction on that data item can only lock that data item and unlock that data item. Okay, so what is defined? A lock guarantees exclusive use of a data item to a current transaction. Okay, so it works on two steps. That is, first is to access data item. When we are going to access a data item, that means we are acquiring a lock. Means here we acquires a lock. Okay, and second is what? After completion of transaction. What about if the transaction is completed? That means we will release the lock. Okay, first step is what? We will acquire that lock, and second, once the process is finished, then we will release that lock. Now, what is the main aim of the lock is what? All the data item must be accessed in a mutual exclusive manner. Okay, whatever the data is there, data item is there, that should be accessed in a mutual exclusive manner. There should be no other allowed. Now there is two type of a lock, that is shared lock and exclusive lock. Shared lock is denoted by lock S, where exclusive lock is denoted by lock X. Okay, now what do you mean by shared lock and what do you mean by exclusive lock? Shared lock means what? Here you can share data item. You can only read data items. Whether in exclusive lock, you can read and write both. In this, you can read data item. Whether in exclusive read, you can read as well as you can write on the data item. Okay, so let's see the compatibility between this lock. If both the transactions are in a shared format, if both the locks are shared in both the transaction, then we will take it as a true value. Okay, we can read it, right? If one transaction is shared lock and another one is an exclusive lock, we cannot accept it, means it is a false. Similarly, if there is any one exclusive lock, you cannot access that. That means that all are false. Only if both the transaction in a shared lock, then we can access that transaction, or we can operate that operation. So that value only the true, rest of the false. We will take one example. Simple. Suppose we have one schedule, in that we have two transactions, that is T1 and T2, right? So, and we have one data item, suppose A, having 100 and an initial amount. Okay, so first we will use exclusive lock, because transaction 1 wants to do both the operation, that is read and write. So it will use exclusive lock, that is lock X on A data item, right? Then it will read data item. Then it will going to detect some or perform some operation on that, right? After detecting or performing operation, it will going to write the data item. Then after performing the operation, it will unlock the data item. Okay, after unlock, now T2 going to execute. Now what we will do, we can only share the lock on that data item. Data item means what? The account. Okay, after lock share, it will only read. As we know, shared lock only works on a read operation, right? So this transaction only read that data item. Okay, next it will going to unlock that item. Understood? Now in T1 transaction, it performs exclusive lock. These are exclusive lock. And these are shared lock. Okay, as exclusive perform on both the operation, whether shared only perform on single operation, that is read operation. Okay, now what are the main point to be noticed here? If any number of transaction can hold shared lock on an item, but exclusive lock can be held only by one transaction. Shared can be used on number of a transaction, but exclusive lock only holds one transaction. Okay, so remember this, shared lock can be performed number of transaction, where exclusive hold by only a one transaction at a time. Understood? Now in lock base there is one another type, that is 2PL. 2PL stands for two phase locking. Okay, how it is processed in three phase. First phase is permission, another phase is acquires, and the last one is demand. or can't demand. Can't demand. So two-phase locking works on a 3 phases. First is a permission, another one is acquires, and last one is demand. Permission means what? Here it will take the permission to lock that data item. Okay. Once it will get the permission to lock that data item, it will acquires all the lock. All lock Galvi acquires. Demand means what? Once the all lock get acquired, we cannot demand new lock. Understood? So 2PL is work on a 3 phases: permission, acquires, and demand. In permission, it will take the permission to lock the data item. Once it will get the permission, it will acquires all the locks. Whatever the locks is possible, it will acquires all the locks. And last part is, once you acquire all the locks, it will cannot be accessed or cannot demand another lock. Okay, so this is a simple process of 2PL. Now next protocol is timestamp based protocol. Now as the name indicates, timestamp, as we know, we are forcing or we have to solve this isolation consistency, and we have to solve that read and write conflicts. So what this timestamp says, the timestamps of the transaction determines the seriability order. Here we will do, we will give some priority to the transaction. Okay, mostly used by the concurrency control is this protocol. It is widely used. Here it will provide timestamp to data sets or data items. Okay, so the priority is given here. Suppose one example I will take. Suppose there is one data item. So one is logging at 002 second and another is logging at 0004 second, right? Now this is older one, whether this is 2 second younger, right? So what will the time span do? It will give permission to this data item to execute. Okay, so whatever the older data item is there, that will be execute first, and the rest of the younger one will be execute the next. So there is some rules to provide this time span. So how to apply that rule? Suppose we have to perform issue write operation, and here we have to issue read operation, or suppose we have data set of A. Now what are the rule? If you want to issue write on A, so what are the rules? If now before that, let's consider timestamp as TS and transaction as TI. Okay, and if timestamps work on a transaction TI, it is denoted as timestamp on TI. Okay, next is if read timestamp is there, then it is of A data set, then it is denoted as RTS of A. Similarly, write operation time stamp of data atom A is denoted by WTS on dataset A. Okay. Now we will see the rule. Suppose the transaction issue write operation. So if Ti of time spent is less than or greater than RTS of A, then that write operation is get rejected and Ti is rollback. Similarly, if timestamp on transaction Ti is less than or equal to write of timestamp of data set A, then it is also get rejected. Okay, what are the rule if it is issue read operation? Similarly, if time spent Ti is less than write of timestamp of data set A, then it is also get rejected. Means that write operation get rejected. These are the rules we have to follow. Next, if TS of Ti is greater than or equals to WTS. WTS means what? Write timestamp of A is equals to timestamp of transaction Ti, then it will going to accept. Okay, or we can say it will going to excuse me, executed. It will going to execute. Okay, let me explain it again. So if suppose that transaction issues write operation or issue read operation, so what are the rule? If it is issued write operation, that will we have to check if that transaction stamp of a transaction Ti is less than read operation on a data set A, then it will going to reject it. Okay. Similarly, if timestamp of the TNZ is less than or equal to write of timestamp of A, it is also get rejected. So these are the condition we have to check. If both are the less, then both are going to be rejected. Means that write operation going to be reject. Next, if it is issued for read operation, so there is only again there is two condition. Sorry, there is again two condition. If TS of T is less than write operation of A, it is also get rejected. Means that read operation got rejected. And if timestamp of Ti transaction is greater than equals to write transaction, that only the this operation going to be executed. Means it will perform read operation. Okay, understood? So this table you have to keep in mind. These are the rules to execute write and read operation by using timestamp. Timestamp means giving a priority to the particular data set to execute at a time. Understood? So this is how timestamp protocol works. Thank you. Bye bye.